Welcome to the Emporium Outdoors. My name is Michael, and in today's video we're going to be doing an overnight camp in -20 C weather in a tarp. So if you think that sounds like fun, join me for the rest of the video. So we're in Alberta, Canada, in the foothills of the Rocky Mountains, and I've got some new equipment that I really want to test out. I'm going to be doing a solo camp tonight. The weather right now is about -15 Celsius, and I'm expecting it to go down to around -20, and we have about 4 inches or 10 centimeters of snow forecast. So that's going to be interesting. Got the old KVF 360 with me. The old girl, she was a bit struggling to start when I took it off the truck, but I'm sure it'll be doing pretty good. I decided not to travel too far from where my truck's located, and I actually went uphill. So if I do get any problems starting or whatever, I should be able to roll it down the hill onto the track and then bring the truck in. That's the plan. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case. But, you know, with a lot of things with winter camping, you have to hope for the best and plan for the worst. And that's me planning for the worst. Let's talk a little bit about where I've decided to pitch up. So I managed to find this spot. The trail actually is just there. So the ATV trail. So we're not too far off a trail. But it's a wooded area. And it looks like it's all spruce and pine. This is all spruce by the looks of it. The main deciding factor was my wood availability, I'm going to be honest with you, and also a flat spot. I want to be out from the trees just in case I don't want any heavy snow load falling down on me. I'd rather have it just gradually drop on me. So had a bit of a kick around here. I think we're gonna sleep right here, and my wood supply is just in that forest. So I don't have any cell service where I am. So if I get stuck, I'm kind of on my own. I do have my Apple SOS if I get super stuck. And I'll text my wife a couple of times to make sure she knows where I am, etc. But yeah, beautiful spot. And I got this nice lookout. This big old tree. Man, that's a nice looking tree. Not something you would camp under, but that girl's been around for a long time. Nice forest, but as you can see, lots of deadfall. It's not going to be the best wood, but if I can get fire lit, then I think we should be golden. So I think that's enough talking. Let's get to setting up. I think I'm just going to plonk her down there. All right, let's get going. So this is what I'm going to be running with. This is my OneTigris tarp. This is actually a poncho style tarp. So it's a tent poncho, I guess. So I thought I'd give that a go. Haven't used it before. I just have this cheap ground mat. I can't even remember where I got this from. It's like a picnic mat, but it's waterproof on one side and fuzzy on the other. Well, that makes a difference, but this will give me somewhere I can put my sleeping bag down without it getting punctured. So let's get it set up. Just going to switch out my hat. That's cold. My hands aren't too bad actually for -15. Once it gets below the -20, your hands literally freeze almost instantly. So this is the poncho, how it can be worn. You obviously get a backpack under the back here. But practically a hiking poncho. And now we're going to turn it into a tent. Let's get it down. Okay, so that's going to be home for tonight. Doesn't look like much. Could get some more space at the back. That probably stack that with snow. Not sure about these armholes. It'd be nice if you could velcro them in or something. Okay, let's get on to the next part. Okay, let's take a look and see how we've got it set up. So I've got my Thermarest Z mat. I've got Thermarest, I think it's the Extreme. It's one of the warmest mats they have. Got a cheap Amazon pillow underneath. Got my Thermarest Polar Ranger, which is, I think, comfort minus 20 Celsius, extreme minus 30. Obviously the tarp. I have this just to keep the snow off. Have my little stick there, just in case anything decides to come and bother me in the night. But this is pretty much going to be my setup. I'm going to have my fire out front here. And I have a piece of plastic tarp I'm going to put in front, see if I can make a super shelter. That's my plan, but we'll see how that works out. So far, I think it's okay. It's going to keep the snow off somewhat. I do have a wool blanket right here. This is a Princess Auto Army wool blanket. Throw that in. I'm just going to put that over the top of the sleeping bag because it's down. That will provide a bit more insulation, but more importantly, any sparks that come that way, so I'm going to go through my very expensive sleeping bag. And then I'm going to probably move the quad maybe under these trees, just in case it does snow heavy. It's not going to get fully loaded. And then I'm going to go gather some wood. I think I might use my small firebox for now, and then kind of gather some wood, and I can tip that out and start a bigger fire. So let's get on with that part. So my camp's all set up. Time is around 5:30. So it's going to be a long old night, especially in the mountains. Because the sun doesn't come up till it clears the mountains. But temperature's starting to drop. My ungloved hands now are starting to bite. So that tells me we're getting pretty close to like -18. Something like that. Not terrible. My steak's still cooking. So the obvious question is, where are my dogs? And I decided not to bring Esme with me because I thought this trip would be too rough on her. It's a pretty small tent and she's getting really old really fast. So I'm going to wait until I do more of a hot tent camp and then we can bring her along. Lizzy would be okay to come, but it's still early in her camping. And I didn't want to spook her too much by taking her on her own, somewhere really unfamiliar. She's a very spooky dog. And I don't think it would help her on her progression to being a camping dog. With Esme, we started camping together right from the beginning. So we kind of built up together on our skill set and the things we did. And we, kept pushing the boundaries, what we would endure and how comfortable we could get. So yeah, Lizzy, I just need to break in a bit easier. When the weather's not as cold, maybe I'll bring a hot tent and I'll bring the dogs. But tonight's really just a bit of a test for me, I guess. I haven't been camping out much as I used to, and that's mainly because I moved away from the area I used to camp, and it's very inconvenient. This is like a 3-hour drive to get here, and I don't like leaving my vehicle overnight. Usual stuff, I'm not going to go into all of it, but it makes it very difficult. Hopefully in spring I'll be moving back to an area where there's lots of crown land, and my dream of all dreams is to be able to drive from my house on an ATV or a side-by-side and get straight out to the bush. So there is none of this kind of parking a vehicle, trailer and things. So that's been my dream for a very long time. I'm hoping that's going to come true this spring. So I do understand all the comments in the channel that you prefer my older videos. And honestly, I do too. I watch my older stuff like, man, that looks so much good fun. And it was. And it's such a shame that Medicine Hat is really, it's a desert in more than one way. It's a desert, obviously, geographically, but also the camping opportunities around there's nothing. It's all farmland. So, not the best. So, just to explain the trip, this is really just for me, just to get out, test some gear out. I know the gear's going to work fine, but really just to test my resolve, see if I can camp in -20 or below comfortably, safely. Yeah, and I just like being out here. It's a bit weird not having a dog with me because I feel that's another pair of eyes. So my head's on a bit of a swivel just to make sure that I'm safe. Because Esme would pick stuff up I would never see. She would just bark and growl at certain things. And I knew there was something out there that I couldn't see, but she was pretty confident. So, yeah, I'll get this fire going pretty big. I'm going to have this steak. And, yeah, I'm actually enjoying it quite a bit, but I am missing my dogs. Perfect. Well, I'm going to finish up the steak. Got the kettle on already. Going to have a nice cup of tea, I think. And then I'm going to get this bigger fire lit just behind there. And then I'm going to feed those logs in as it burns down. So I'll just have a continuous fire. I didn't want to really cut too many logs. So hopefully my little fire trick will work. The heat from the fire should reflect into the shelter covered by the plastic. And I should stay warm, at least while the fire's running. I don't expect the fire to go all night, but it'll be nice to have that while I'm getting ready for bed and all those other good things. So yeah, I'm going to chew down on this beautiful peppered Canadian steak. Well, that worked not too bad. I just have to feed those logs in. Well, it's time to go to sleep, so I'm going to climb into the old sleeping sack. I'll let you know in the morning how well it worked out, but I'm looking forward to a pretty hot night. I'll tell you if I'm disappointed in the morning. Have a good evening. Good night. Well, good morning. It's about 7:30 in the morning. Very quiet night. Actually pretty comfortable. Not bad. Nice and warm inside. But it is cold outside, obviously. So I'm not wanting to get out my sleeping bag right now. But yeah, that was a very pleasant night. Well, that was a pretty fun evening. Slept like a log, actually. It's pretty good. Slept for almost maybe 11 hours. I think I did get up once in the night to go to the bathroom, but apart from that, I just slept all the way through. Very comfortable. The setup with that particular mat and the straps on the sleeping bag make sure that you don't slide around off your mat, which is pretty common on lots of other setups that I've used. So to have it actually attached to the sleeping bag makes a lot of difference. I don't know if it got as cold as I was expecting last night. It was definitely like -14, -15 when I got here. And it's obviously going to drop in temperature overnight. But I don't know, it's just this area that I'm in just didn't feel as cold. But with that sheet up there and the fire going, it was nice and toasty inside. It works actually really well. Fire worked out good. Got lots of wood left. So that's the beauty of having a warm sleeping bag, is you don't have to fuss with the fire too much. If this was open, I didn't have such a good setup, then feeding the fire would get tedious. Every couple of hours or more often you would have to remove the fire, move the logs in. But yeah, beautiful morning to see out across the valley. And yeah, we'll have to start getting this place packed up, sadly. So I can't get the quad to start, so that's a problem. But I am on this hill. I managed to push it to this hill here and hoping I can just ride it down maybe. I do have a booster in the car, the truck. That means to walk back down and back up again. Yeah, I thought the battery seemed weak when I started it up off the truck. The old girl, she was a bit struggling to start when I took it off the truck. So I kind of thought I was going to bring the booster with me, and I was like, I got the hand back up, pull back up. But neither one of those is working. And I'm tired. Well, this is what can happen, and you always have to plan for it. I always have, and it paid off this time. I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, take care. And as always, thank you very much for watching. If you like my videos, leave me a comment, maybe a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe.